Or 7 p.m. For January 11th. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you take roll, Mary?
Murray?
Here.
Henry?
Yep.
Joe? Here. And trustee Getzinger said he'd be the...
Yeah, it's running a little late. Yes, personal business on a funeral, I understand. Okay, we're going to open the public hearing for the fiscal year 23 Community Development Block Grant Funds. I'd like to thank everybody that came on behalf of your organizations to ask for requests for funds. Like usual, we have a very small pot, but we try to share it as fair and equitably as we possibly can. I will acknowledge you. Raise your hand when you want to come up and speak. I'll acknowledge you. Please come to the podium. State your name, the organization you work with, and your request from the board, and describe in short what your function is in our communities. Who wants?
You have to make a motion to open the public
Oh,
hearing, and then someone has to second it.
Okay, did.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Okay, we're now in the public hearing. Please feel free to raise your hand. Who wants to go first? Judy, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Judy Barron, longtime Armada person, long since gone. But I represent Samaritan House. We are a food pantry in Washington, Michigan. We do cover Armada and Armada Township. We feed, last year we provided 9 families in Armada, or assistance to 9 families, but it was 179 family members. We spent about $2,800 here. We also used about $15,000 worth of donated items, and that's our personal care and things. We're a pantry of choice, so you get to pick what you want. You don't have to take anything you don't want to. We helped one family, this is all in Armada, preventing a utility shut-off at almost $500. We provided 7 families with Easter boxes along with a $25 gift certificate. And Thanksgiving, 6 families with $25 gift certificate. Our summer kids program, which we give additional supplemental food, we did 5 families. Also, we did backpacks for 5 children, 5 families, and new boots and coats. And then we do deliver out here on a monthly basis 1 family. So I'm just requesting, we always request $500, but we understand the budget is what it is, and we would appreciate any consideration.
Thank you very much, Judy. You guys do a great job. Are there any other nonprofits here? Please. Hello, Sandy.
Hi, I'm Sandy Hoxie, representing Armada PAL once again. We too know that your funds are limited every year more and more as our costs continue to rise. So we appreciate all the help you've given us in the past. Our main project for the year is always sending the kids to camp. However, we do work with the youth of Armada throughout the whole year in different projects. We would appreciate any help that you can give us. I've requested an amount for 4 children. I know that's unreasonable, but we always have, excuse me, we usually have about 10 kids that need help in order to go to camp. So whatever the board could do for us, we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Hearing none, which request did you get, Mary?
Actually, Stacy Conti from Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers, she couldn't make it here tonight. They're requesting $296 they're a safe-at-home program, and the average cost is like $74 per task, but she knows, like everyone has said, that whatever we can give, they would really appreciate it. And then, MCrest is asking for $783. They're an emergency shelter, the cost is $9 per night, but again, they would accept whatever the board can give us.
Mhm.
We give them. That's all I have.
Hearing no more requests for donations, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're moved out of our public hearing. I'd like to call our regular meeting to order at 7:05.
1 second.
And first, we have the approval of our December 4th,
14.
or 14th regular board meeting. I'm sorry.
You have a motion? You have a comment?
No, I just move to approve.
Want to move to approve? Okay, I'll second that.
Or is there any discussion on the minutes?
We're fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our minutes are matter of record. Set and amend the agenda.
I would like to amend,
Okay.
I would like to, I'm sorry.
No, go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah. I would like to change the budget workshop dates for January 26th and February 23rd to either January 23rd, 24th, or 25th, and for February 23rd to the 20th, 21st, or 22nd. The dates that we had set were Thursdays, and on those two particular dates, I have delegate meetings, and so if possible, I would like to move those to either, like I said, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
That'll be
Those.
Jay.
Okay,
Make that Jay.
Jay?
okay. And then I would like to add an amendment for banking authorization for Chris on two accounts that she needs access to for statements and in case she needs to get into them. So I just need board approval for that, so I'll be looking for that under new business. I'll make mine K.
And then the other one, I would like to move the fire department full-time hire from E to B. And with that, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll support.
Oops.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
Need to vote.
No other questions?
Oh, did anyone have questions on the amendments? No?
Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll make the
We already
motion.
did that.
Oh,
There you go.
and we
Okay.
got support
Yeah.
with the amended,
Sarah
okay.
already- yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll work for this agenda. Bills.
Any questions on bills?
I do have a question on the bill.
Wanna go ahead and read it?
Let me see. I do have a question on the bill. I see Robin Spalding got paid for 15.75 hours. What was that for? Because it's for the month of November. Show me, what was that for? What did she do?
Well, she did, if you will, research and emails, plus she organized my office and helped in the office here with Chris and Sarah.
Okay, is there a time, are we utilizing the time clock yet?
No, they've resisted that.
Well, okay, so we'll be discussing that at budget workshop, so.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And then, there was one more thing that I had. Yeah, I am really questioning that attorney bill for the 13th. I received, so that email came in on December 13th.
Which
And,
email was
that was the one regarding the ZBA meeting.
it? Okay.
And our meeting was the 14th, yet we did not have that information. it was brought up at the planning commission, and that's when we found out about that. It's when, because I was here, and that's when we found out that they had come in. So I would just really like to make sure that we are getting any correspondence in a timely manner, like we were all here that night, and it could have been in our mailbox. So that's the thing. And then the, what was that regarding the township clerk letter from Department of Treasury and the audit? Is that a correspondence
Yep,
that?
well, I got a letter from the Department of Treasury, questioning
The
our-
Act 99,
on our, the purchase of the fire trucks.
two of them,
Okay.
right?
And two of them, they wanted to know what act it was. So then I called, actually, I contacted the auditor first, and he said, contact your attorney. So I contacted Christine Anderson, she said to contact Patrick McGow, so I did that, I got the information, and I was taking care of it, so I forwarded it to John. But then Robin emailed me back, said that she's gonna take care of it, when I really didn't ask her to take care of it. I had all the information, so she, as far as I
It
know,
was
it's
really
all.
just a paper trail as to how we spent our monies on the fire trucks, to document to the state that our money was spent on an asset for the township.
Right, but I had all the documentation, and then Robin said she's gonna take care of it. I would've appreciated a call from you, John, say, I can have Robin take care of that, that'd be fine, but she just stepped right in and wanted to take care of it, and I had to give her the information anyway, so. And I'm pretty sure she spent some time on that, but in the meantime, I was taking care of it.
Okay, but I just want to make sure that the whole board is getting this information, and I know that Robin had contacted me about the emails, but we'll be talking about that later, so I'm not gonna get into that right now. But, just so that we get the documentation in correspondence, I'm up here at every planning commission meeting. I can come up, make an appointment and just say, hey, can I pick up my information, and thank you for the key. I did get that key, so I can make sure I can get what I need in a timely manner. I like to have the information before I'm voting on it, so.
And the ZBA really is a matter issue of the board, not of the planning commission, just so you're aware.
But, and I understand that, but.
Okay, it's not a
but the
planning commission function to oversee the ZBA or comment on the ZBA, and the situation on the ZBA was corrected by the board even prior to the planning commission meeting, was a part of our minutes.
But we didn't know that. Like, I mean, if we would have had that meeting, if we would have had that information last month on the 14th, we could have addressed it at the same time
Again,
last
the ZBA
month.
meeting was the 18th. It was already set for Henshaw to come in, so.
No, John,
the
that
November.
letter from the attorney was dated December 13th. Our township meeting was December 14th. That was the night that we had appointed Jim to the ZBA. We could have had discussion about that at that December meeting. So, I almost feel blindsided, like, it was like, okay, we appointed Jim, and I didn't know any of that information until last week at the planning commission meeting, when it was questioned. So I just wanna make sure that we are getting any information in a timely manner, so that we can make sure, I wanna make sure I'm
Yeah,
doing
generally,
the
these are all
research and doing that.
sorted to our mailboxes
Right.
right after we get them, right?
And I will make sure every time I come in that I'm checking my mailbox. So that's all I'm asking.
Right, I'll make a motion to the previously paid fire bills, $14,668.21. Township, $3,067.89. Open invoices, $3739.56. Township, $155,446.93. Payroll, fire, $110,910.32. Township, $30,436.35. Tax, $2,849,687.49. Trust and agency, $11.25. Open trust and agency, $45,000, for a total of $3,214,206.
You said the trusting agency was paid what?
$45,000, that's for the ABA. The ABA.
AB
That
contribution,
money's
right?
coming out of the ABA.
Yeah.
That's what
But
that.
you said trusting agency paid how much? 1,000.
$11.25, $1,125.
Okay, because I thought you said 11,000.
No,
Okay.
I said $11.25.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, that'd be a lot.
Good.
So, I made a motion, any second?
I'll
I'll
say.
Okay, go ahead. Sarah's
We
got
don't
it.
need to fight.
Sarah's got it.
Okay. Murray?
Yes.
Yes, get you? Oh, he's here. Get her?
Yep.
Joe?
Yes.
Bills are paid. Correspondence and information, or, excuse me, public comments. Are there any public comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to correspondence and information. Mary, did you want to share that letter you got from the Michigan Township participating plan?
I don't know if I included that in my paperwork. Yeah, let me get that. This is from the Michigan Township Participating Plan. Dear Mary, I would like to thank you and Chief Crotchy for taking the time to meet with Risk Control to discuss the operations of Armada Township. This action allows the Risk Control Department to assist your organization and its services in identifying existing and potential liability exposures that may be present in day-to-day operations such as yours. Upon review of the information gathered and discussed during our meeting, please allow me to offer the following comments and recommendations. I did not identify any issues of concern during this visit. Please contact me if you have any issues regarding registering with HR Muni. Please watch for an email from the park plan inviting you to create a member login for access to the website. There are changes to both the grant and the scholarship programs that may be of interest to you. Our risk control resources will be available through the new member area only. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions or require assistance. Thank you, and we look forward to a continued good working relationship with you and Armada Township. Patrick Nelson, Michigan Participating Plan.
Then we'll move on to the reports. Chief, Fire?
Ladies and gentlemen, for the month of December, we responded to 61 calls, 45 EMS, 16 fire-related. We were given aid, provided aid 3 times. Average response time was 5 minutes and 39 seconds for EMS. For fire, it was 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Take into consideration on that, some of them are not emergencies, and the other, the mutual aids are often at quite a distance. Updates on the sirens. I was informed today by WestNet, who is the West Shore, I'm sorry, who is the to do the installation of them. All the parts are in. They're currently building them all. The expectation is in February they will be installed. We have all the permits from Macomb County Road Commission, and the planners from DTE are all set. So we're literally just waiting for them to come out. One of the things that's pushing them is, until they get them installed, they have to pay interest to federal. So there is an urgency for them to get them in for us. It's at no cost to us. We were notified by Stryker that the 2 stretchers we got from a grant are going to be in this month and will be installed hopefully before the end of the month. Any questions?
Thank you.
And we do have a, just before you got out, Chief received an estimate on the proposal for engineering the additions to the fire department for the wash machine, exercise equipment, bedrooms, bathrooms, et cetera. So that's something we'll take up next month.
I just got it out of the
Yeah,
press. I didn't want
right.
to present it until we got a chance to digest it.
So the board's aware that it'll be available for your review.
Cool.
Thank you, Chief. Code official, outside storage. We did do the inspection on January 9th at 3 o'clock. The property owner has planted an inordinate amount of trees along the property line. Provided they grow, everything should be fine. So at this time, this complaint will be suspended. The possible doggy daycare center, dog kennel violation. The property owner did get to the planning commission meeting. They've pulled paperwork, proper paperwork, and are now going to approach the zoning board of appeals. So they're in the process of becoming, if you will, permitted, provided they get the right approvals.
Okay, Planning Commission report. All were present except Maureen Finn. She had an excused absence. She had talked to DJ. Our planner Laura Hall was there, recording secretary Chris Martin. There were no public comments throughout the meeting at all. The only comments that were made were during the public hearing continuation for Boo Boo's Boneyard. During the public hearing, there were 12 people that got up to speak regarding Boo Boo's. Of those 12 people spoke, 10 of them were extremely favorable. One was very negative and one had some concerns. DJ also read 2 more comments into the record in support of Boo Boo's that could not attend the public hearing, and then the hearing was closed. DJ read the project status report into the record and confirmed all of the PC meeting dates that the board set the prior month. I do have these community projects. I did give them to you guys all tonight for your review, because it wasn't ready beforehand. Under new business, the car wash, the Armada Center car wash was approved. The Henshaw site plan review was approved. Under the unfinished business, Boo Boo's Boneyard special land use was discussed to include timing of operations, capacity, and it was approved to move forward to the ZBA. The board had questions on the revisions of small-scale entertainment last month, so I brought that forward again to Planning Commission. They really weren't sure what the concerns were, and so I just kind of went over with them that, 3 hours is kind of not really a,
Enough time span.
right, I'm just having a brain freeze, sorry. I have those a lot lately. But one of the things that they did do was, because at 3 hours, as the current ordinance states, it's for more than 3 hours in any 12-hour span. We did change that back to what it was, is in a 4-hour span. And just for everyone's clarification, this small-scale entertainment is not for you to have a backyard party. It falls within the agribusiness added farming operations. So it's not for John Smith to have a party and have a DJ or a band or whatever and bother the neighbors. It's it is agribusiness. So it's not related to subdivisions or neighbors having guests. So they are at the next planning commission meeting. Obviously you just got this today, so if you're okay with that change going back to the 3 hours consecutive in a 4-hour period, I can take that back to them. If you're not okay with it, with you just getting this tonight, which I totally understand, it can hold. It's held this long, it can hold another month.
All right.
So, because I also agree, getting stuff to the night you're expected to do something isn't fair to anybody, so. And that is the end of, oh no, wait, it's not the end,
master
sorry,
plan.
I lied. I got too many notes here. We did have a brief master plan discussion, included a discussion about fiscal impact studies of certain areas in the future land use map, the Spalding D. Decker sewer study, the need to continue working on sewer in the township in order to maximize industrial corridor, increase industrial or commercial corridor to make it more enticing to attract commercial industry to Armada. We also briefly discussed the latest SEMCOG study, which I had seen before. I kind of keep an eye on that once in a while, and I knew it did not predict much growth at all for Armada. Laura Haw brought up that it shows an increase of only 46 people in 12 years. It also discussed that Armada's population, in a large part, is an aging population. Perhaps an industry that might be interested in senior housing, memory care, et cetera, could be a good option for the area. And that was Laura Hawes. I mean, we all have some ideas or whatever, but one of the things that we also talked about was the whole sewer, and everything, and obviously nothing's gonna be done about it in the near future, but it's something we do need to plan for. Try to do something, or at least put money away for it as a capital asset in the future, rather than just, what we're doing now, which is not adding to any capital asset plan in that regard, so. So I have thoughts on that for budget hearings when those come up, and that's that.
Is Laura working on the annual report?
She did not say anything about the annual report. There is in this packet I just gave you tonight, something that we have been working on, or she's been working on quite a bit, that's gonna make our well, the master plan update timeline is updated, but we're still working also on making our ordinance book easier to read, more user-friendly. So that's something we're also still working on. There's a lot of work in progress.
Our building department for the month of December, there were permits issued for 2 additions miscellaneous, 5 electrical, 8 mechanical, and 2 plumbing, for a total of 17 permits. There were 17 building inspections, 7 electrical inspections, 7 mechanical inspections, 8 plumbing inspections, for a total of 40 total inspections. Macomb Ag PDR, Ken, please. Thank you for being here, sir.
Good evening, board members. The PDR signing at Richmond Township was held on Friday, January 6, 2023. Over 50 people attended, including township supervisors from Ray and Washington Township. Also, County Commissioner Don Brown, County Executive Mark Acko, State Senator Dan Lowers, and former State Rep Jeff Yarrick, who is representing current State Rep, newly elected Jamie Green. He's working in her office, also attended. Also, the Macomb County Media Department formulated a press release along with a video that was taped during the process, and as soon as I got my hands on that, I forwarded it to Mary, so if anybody's interested, and if your computers can handle it, it's something interesting and nice to see. Also, I just realized, seen today, that there's a nice article in the Romeo Record on the front page covering it. So we greatly appreciate that, trying to get the word out, and so far we're starting to hear some interest from other property owners. The PDR committee met today, this morning, January 11th, at Ray Township Hall, and we had election of officers, and there was a big race for the positions. Same ones got reelected. So they are myself, Kendi Cook, as chair, Joe Jarzena of Ray Township as vice chair, Jonathan Yake of Richmond Township as treasurer, and Vern Coleman of Richmond as secretary. Just a heads up, we got next parcel in Richmond Township, First North property, that might get finished end of March or sometime in April. So within a couple weeks, I'm gonna be sending out a letter to the participating townships about the pledge they made over a year ago for the $500 and where to send it. And also, being you're talking about workshops in the letter, will remind you right now, if you could include the $250 annual fee to cover expenses and that we occur. And if anybody has any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Congratulations.
We're moving along, and we're real happy because we knew some of these dignitaries said they were coming, but as you know, in political world, things can change on a minute, and we were real happy to see everyone there, and also the staff over the number of years, the people we've worked with who helped us get to this point, were there.
Good job.
It is nice to see the recent activity. You know, it sat there for a while, so it's good we got something going, so thank you.
We got something going, and just on a side note, we don't have any applicants in this year's state PDR cycle, but the committee is meeting tentatively for February 14th in Lansing, which I'm on, to review the current applications and approve them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Great. Parks and Rec is off-season, but I can update the board that the lights are installed and working, and the monitor was knocked off the wall by accident when they were putting the electrical in there by the contractor. They did purchase a new monitor for us. Really was kind of put on the wall pretty cheesy, so I'm having Tim install a better mount system for the TV, or the monitor for the security system out there. But yeah, it's a completed project. It looks really, really nice. Water and sewer update. Chet Sikowski did reach out to me. The board can do what they want with it, but he said he'd be willing to turn his permit over to us and, give us a, if you will, property if we would ever want to build a wastewater treatment plant on that property and site over there, but of course, there's money involved in it. If the board has an interest in protecting that permit, provided it hasn't lapsed, we can call him and ask him how much he wants. I didn't talk money or anything with him. I wanted to bring it to the board to see which direction you guys want to go. But he does have a permit for about 500,000 gallons of flow. It's already been vetted through court, and he's had it open for 10,
20
12 years.
20 years.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I'd be interested in seeing if it's still viable and
get some prices
move, and
on
then move
some property.
forward
and
from there. I mean, if it doesn't do
Mary,
any
you want me
good
to
to
pursue that, or
That's fine.
talk about it or
Yeah.
anything, if it's
Yeah.
not
He's already-
viable.
yeah.
Yep.
should pursue it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
He's already
talk
got the
with Jeff.
design and
have-
everything.
I would
Okay.
like to have Jim on that committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
It's
now, we're
just
just gonna
like,
see
yeah.
what he wants for his
Yeah,
property
yeah,
permit, so.
because it's gonna be a lot easier for them to tap in on our side instead of bringing that pipe over from Romeo, so, yes, let's look into that.
Yeah.
Okay, the Macomb Orchard Trail, nothing. Armada Senior Center, December 22nd, or December of 22. Exercise 3 Mondays, 8 to 10 attended. Bingo 3 Tuesdays, 14 to 22 attended. Allenton Potluck 12 attended. Tai Chi 3 Wednesdays, 8 to 10 attended. Knitters 2 Thursdays, 8 to 12 attended. Local lunch 22 attended. The Christmas party, 45 attended. Armada High School choir came in and they were fabulous. The New Year's Eve potluck, they had 35 attend, had a lot of fun. Happy New Year's. I love my job. Donna. I think that's just a default.
Yeah. Automatic signature line.
Treasurer's report?
Okay, so as you can imagine, we've been busy taking tax payments. Things are moving along as expected. We had a big rush prior to the end of the 2022 calendar year. A little slower right now, but as of January 5th, we had collected approximately 60% of the winter taxes. I haven't had a chance to run those numbers again, but I know that in the next couple weeks, it'll start picking up again to get the mad rush in to get them all in and paid before the due date. We did have some overdraft charges on our fire fund account. The result of fire fund bills being paid without sufficient money in the account. We have also received 7 more payments from the summer tax bill letters that were sent out. So that brings the total of received taxes from those letters to 66, with 52 still outstanding. So that's money that we may not have gotten if I hadn't sent those letters out. So I am going to continue that that process of sending them out as reminders. And then to piggyback on what I talked about with the water sewer and talking about it in our budget discussions and what we had talked about at planning, I've been thinking about it a lot over the course of I don't know how long, is how to invest more into our water sewer account. We do have a water sewer account that's set aside right now. It doesn't get any activity other than the interest. But I'm trying to come up with ways we can put more into it than just the interest. What we have set aside right now is a little bit more than $78,000, which, as you can well imagine, it's not gonna come close to what we need to do this project. What I think we would need to do, or would like to do, is to make a definite commitment to put money aside annually, every 6 months, something out of our budget, and that it's something to talk about during the budget talks, where we can say, you know, I can squeeze a percentage out of my budget, and then we'll put it right in that account. We'll actually physically take a check, put it in that water sewer account, so that we're actually making a commitment. It's a commitment to the township, it's a commitment to future progress. Just my ideas, obviously, up for grabs, but,
We used to do that. I don't understand why that ever stopped.
yeah, I mean, I think it's
25 to 50,000.
a good idea
like,
for
So we
anything.
had it built up quite a
Um,
bit, so I'm kinda shocked that it's 78,000.
Well, I know
Mary,
that,
when we took office, we didn't have any account set up for sewer,
No.
none.
so it's just, a
In
point
08.
that I would like to do for all, I think it's a smart move for anybody, for any business, for any government entity, for anything, is to put money aside for capital assets. And sewer treatment, you know, wastewater treatment plant is a definite asset. For Armada Township to be projected to only gain 46 people in the next 20 years is,
No, we're,
you know, I mean, it's some cog,
gonna
take
have-
it with a grain of salt, but
we're gonna have 46 new homes in the next 5 years.
I'm not saying I want 46 people to come in every week, you know, but we do need to, we don't want to disappear. But we don't want to be, you know, like other places. But I do think a capital asset commitment is something that we need to do. So, and that's my spiel. You have all the reports in front of you, and that's that.
Okay, the Internet Subcommittee, I was called into a meeting today by John Paul Ray in the county, Blake's, and Linda Davis Kirksey. During that conversation, John Paul Ray mentioned that there's like $1.4 billion in broadband
Right, through the state.
broadband investments going out to rural communities. And
Right. And Linda's, I've talked with her about that.
so there's an opportunity for us potentially to get another round of funding, if you will, to bring more high-speed internet to the township.
Right.
So that was exciting, but, you know, again, it goes back to having Linda, you know, put in
'Cause we
order
do
where it
have-
is and how we're gonna
right,
get it.
because we do have that one grant written that was for a federal funded program, and they kind of
That was
washed their
through
hands
Michigan-
of
That
it.
was Michigan Connecting Michigan?
No, that's what we did, that was our last
That was
grant
the
that we
first one,
received.
yeah.
Right, this other one was through Debbie Stabenow's office. That got kind of blown away, and then, Gary Peters took it over, and then when the state said, you know, we're gonna do this for rural communities, then, you know, Stabenow and Peters kind of washed their hands of it. And so we need to
Yeah, I think
follow
the
more with
committee's
what
gonna get a
the
little bit more
state's
active, but as
doing.
soon as I get information from John Paul Ray in the county, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, because then I also had an email today that came in from Comcast who wants to do another event like they had here when we signed everybody up. So I questioned them, I'd be happy to set that up for them, or attempt to at the senior center again on a Saturday. And, I asked what it was for, if there was new grant monies coming through, if we're ready to rock and roll, get the rest of the township covered, and she said, well, no, there's no grants that I'm aware of. But and I said, well, there's no new areas being covered. There's still people that are having difficulties getting connected under the current grant that we had. And she wasn't aware of those, and I said, well, were this just an email exchange? And I said, I've been contacting people, there are still people that have work orders, that have this and that have that. So I am going to put a notice out for anyone that was in the original grant area that is not connected, wants to be connected. Please call me here, send me an email to my treasurer email, so we can have another record of it. I will do what I can to make sure that the original grant area, everyone's got it that wants it. They'll have whatever event they're gonna do if I can get this set up, and we'll move forward. But ultimately, our goal, or my goal, has always been to get the whole township covered for whoever wants it. So, we're still working on it, and thank you for bringing that
Yeah,
up to.
yeah, it
yeah.
just, it came up out of the blue when we were talking about the different options and what they have to do going forward for tip funds or whatnot for the road, so.
Okay. Yeah, good to
Under
know.
unfinished business, there is
Actually,
none.
I'll make a motion to
Oh.
file and receive reports.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, right. Reports are matter of record. Under unfinished business, there is none. New business, community development block grant funds, fiscal year '23 proposed allocations.
Right, I made a service funding proposal. Armada Pale, I was suggesting 2 scholarships for the campers, that would be $800. Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers is asking for $296. I recommended $296. MCrest, they were requesting $783. I put it $402 for that. And the Samaritan House was requesting $500. And I recommended $402 for that, just because we don't have a lot of funds to go.
I think those are good.
I have some suggestions I'd like to bring if somebody seconded that motion or not, I don't know.
I'll second.
Okay. And they're all great organizations, and but over the last few years, I've noticed that, more money goes to the Armada PAL camp, and I understand. However, I'd like to see a more equitable exchange. There's still, as of the last week, PAL still has $1,408.
Nope, that's being used. That's being used. If you'll see when we go to do the budget amendments, those funds are gonna be used. Those are from 21.
Right, when it was canceled because of
Yeah,
COVID.
so they still have those funds.
Okay.
Yep.
So, all right, that's what I mean, they still have them though.
Yeah, but they're
So-
gonna be used to pay the
But-
school bus bill that I just got. So that they will have nothing left.
So I came up with, doing $400 for PAL, increasing the, interfaith caregivers, although they only asked for $296, and it's my understanding that
You
we
can't
can
ask
only
for more.
give,
Yeah,
what
can't
they-
ask for any more.
okay. So when I was figuring these numbers, I forgot that. McRest, I increased to like $550, $650. It's $9 a night. They service a lot of people throughout, everywhere. I know they take turns going to different churches in the area and feeding them and everything is a huge, expense, and taxing on the people that, help with McRest in those parishes throughout the week that they're there. And Samaritan House, we heard, they've done a lot, and do a lot for Armada families, so I wanted to increase that to $499.50. Those numbers, obviously, like I said, when I did them, I forgot taking into account giving more than what was asked for, we can't do, but I would like to see a more equitable across the board from these, the four people that are asking. Every year that I've been coming to these meetings, it's not very equitable, and I'd like to see more equity.
Well, I made a motion, and Monica,
Okay,
do you
yeah, I like the PAL only because we know that
Our
there are Armada
students.
kids that are going.
Oh, right, I
Armada,
understand.
you know,
I don't
and
have any issues with
I
them
think
whatsoever.
that is, and like with McRest, I mean, my church has helped with that, it's a great thing. It's a great ministry.
Mhm.
And so I like that, let the churches support that and get more involved. And so I like the way that it's split up right now. It was nice seeing Judy Barron here for Samaritan House. And to reach out to different entities, like more mission type things to help with that.
Oh,
Like the
yeah,
more
I have no.
faith-based,
Mhm.
and then, because PAL, the faith-based is not gonna be able to help with that. They're gonna help, like, the faith-based will help with Samaritan House, Interfaith, and with McRest. PAL, they're not gonna get that help. And that's why if the municipality could just help them with that, and then let's reach out to the different churches in the area, because I know a lot of people that work with McRest. And like I said, I didn't know that Judy was part of Samaritan House, so
Oh, yeah. She has
to
my
go
name.
and look, and to go and follow up and see what else, what else can we do to help with that, but with more like the churches and the faith-based. So I think that the way that this is, it's equitable, because I know that the students, our Armada kids are utilizing that PAL money.
Yeah, well, in retrospect too, with MCrest, we're gonna send 2 kids to camp, MCREST, for the kind of money we're giving them, can take care of a lot of homeless people, people that need food, not go to camp, per se. So I understand the,
But these kids cannot afford to go to a camp, that's why they have,
right. Oh, yeah,
No.
no, I understand, it's
Yeah.
been going on a long time, I get
Yeah.
it.
we've always supported them.
But even the fact that we've always supported them is irrelevant. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
think that, like, with that, like I said, to help kids go to camp, I mean, my church, we were gonna help our own kids and within our church, but that's our church doing that, but our church goes out of its way to help a lot of the different, like, food pantries, and I know the Catholic Church does a lot of that. It's more like a missionary, more like a ministry, not that where PAL, they are not gonna get that kind of help. So, I think that there's other areas that, and other resources that could be used for those ministries type outreaches.
Oh, and we just don't have the money to dole out
There's
either.
not
I
a
mean,
lot, yeah.
quite honestly, we'd give everybody what they need if we
Right.
could, that's for
Yeah.
sure. I know that.
Yeah.
So,
Any other discussion, or
yeah, go ahead, roll it.
Swayaki, yes, Murray?
No.
Job,
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes. Yep. Chief, we have, fire department full-time hire, please.
And this is the final hiring from our SAFER grant that will bring us up to full staffing with that. That was an award we got last year, totaling $827,000. That funds us for 3 extra firefighters for 3 years. We did a lengthy search for people, and it was tough to find people, but the ones we found we couldn't be more grateful with. And the last one and the final was Jeff Wessel. Jeff has significant experience. He's got 5 years' experience with Marysville Fire Department paid on call. He's got 12 years private EMS experience. He's a critical care paramedic, instructor coordinator, and was a field training officer at the private company. We're requesting approval to hire him as our 3rd SAFER grant employee.
I will make the motion to hire Jeffrey Wessel, full-time firefighter paramedic, retroactive January 8th, 2023, with a starting wage of $16.48.
Support.
Who wants it?
Sarah's got it.
Swayaki, yes, Murray?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Job?
Yes.
In the tradition, if we could swear him in.
Yeah.
that'd be great. His father will be pinning a badge on.
Joe, please, come on up. Oh, hold on. Oh, we get them.
Get to swear.
We have
She
to make
gets to
them, we
swear
have to
at you
make them
first.
promise.
I, Jeffrey Wessel,
Being duly sworn,
being duly sworn,
depose and say
depose and say
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the ordinances of Armada Township,
and the ordinances of Armada Township,
and I will endeavor to secure and maintain
and I will endeavor to secure and maintain
an honest and efficient administration
an honest and efficient administration
of the affairs of Armada Township,
of the affairs of Armada Township,
free from partisan control,
free from partisan control,
and I will fulfill the responsibilities of
and I will fulfill the responsibilities of
Armada Township firefighter paramedic
Armada Township firefighter paramedic
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was waiting for that.
Good thing you're a paramedic.
Welcome aboard, Joe.
Good to see you again.
Be safe, thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Good stuff. I'd like to thank his brothers and sisters back there for showing support for him. Good to see you guys tonight. Okay, 2023, 22-23, general fund budget amendments.
No, go-to meeting. We're just moving
We
everything
just
down.
swapped-
The go-to
we
meeting
just
is
swapped
next.
Oh, I thought you moved it down to E. Okay,
No,
I'm sorry.
no. No,
All
we're just
right.
moving everything up.
There have been requests to continue the go-to meetings. The only reason that it was going on my card is when we tried to put it on the township card originally, card was overdrawn or whatever, wouldn't take it. Remember, the fire department had money on there or something, and,
Oh, it's the fire department card, okay.
yeah, so,
So can it be put on the township card?
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
we prefer it on the township card,
Yeah, good.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to make a motion to bring the participation in go-to meetings back to our general board meetings and planning commission.
I'll support that.
Murray,
Yes.
Job,
Yes.
Patrick?
Yep.
Swacky, no.
Okay. Oh, man. Room clear. Good night, thank you for coming. Now fiscal year 22-23 general fund budget amendments. On line item 101-446-930-001, maintenance, chloride roads, the previous amount of that budget was $7,955.14. They're gonna take $2,176.26 out, leaving the new amount at $5,775.88. And it's gonna go to maintenance park, line number 101-756-930-000. The previous amount there was $13,200. The adjusted amount added to the 2176.26 brings that budget up to 15,376. That was for the tornado cleanup, correct? Mary?
Yes.
Yep.
for-
And then our 101-000-759-000 PAL Smart Community batch amendment. PAL has $1,408.48 left in the community credits unused during the time of COVID, when the camp was canceled in 2021. So the previous amount was $4,861 and change, or 00, I should say. And they're gonna add $1,408.48, making that total budget amount $6,269.48. And then 101-756-821-000, park improvement batch amendment, line item, budget left is $75,055. We need to increase that line item by $47,942.96 in batch amendment to pay for the field lighting project. The remaining $45,000 is being paid by the Armada Baseball Association. So our previous budgeted amount was $75,055. We're going to add $47,942.96 to that, bringing the new amount to $123,997.96.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendments and batch amendment as presented.
Support. Are there any questions about why the monies were put in there and what it was used for?
Yeah, I'm still like that park, that it went that much over budget is very disconcerting.
Well, when the tornado came through, Captain Tree Service only had X amount of days in town. They worked 4 days for DTE, almost 5 days, and then they had 10 days total to be in town. So we only had them for 10 days, so we concentrated the effort in the heaviest damaged areas along the tornado path, being that none of the trees around homes or in widowmakers in the park, that was left undone. So once we got through the season, we had paid Carl Cross to come in and restore the whole park along the river, take the trees out of the river. There was a lot of trees down.
When did those bills come in? Cause it seems like that was a while ago.
Carl's came in after.
Like
We
how?
paid the ones with the tornado as soon as that happened. Carl didn't do that job until after the next fiscal year.
Right.
That's why, it was
okay.
around $6,500 or something like that, so
Okay.
that's why with the park, otherwise the park usually never goes over.
Okay, cause that was like,
Yeah, it was about 6,500 and
okay.
something. Yeah, and we had 3 bids and he was the most reasonable,
Very reasonable, actually.
so. Swag, yes, Murray?
No.
Job?
Yes.
Henrik?
Yes. iPads for the trustee, or iPads, Board of Trustees.
Yep. So I read Gary's letter in correspondence, so it sounded like he had a hard time getting the Solve IT to get into his computer. Then I read the other letter from, the attorney where it talked about, or from wherever, let me say I have it here, where our information will be FOIA-able if it's on our private phones, computers. I can tell you right now, that's not happening. I'm not putting that on mine. I would have to go Hillary on my own phone. That's not happening.
It's not true. It would only be FOIA only, from what I understand, is only
Township
documents, right,
Yeah,
it's not.
But you know what, but they have to take the personal thing. In fact, this was it. I wrote it down, what the heck? Cause I highlighted it and I'm like, oh, that's not happening. Not happening.
Well, that paper that I just handed out here explains how you can put the Microsoft on your phone. Here's another one that we got from Frank DeGiorgio in Bruce Township. Now, Verizon apparently has a program where they give you a free iPad or a free phone
I did hear about this.
that, here's the information on the free phone. That other one is the information on the, how you would install that on your phone. I got one here for Jim too. So, and I can't say that I disagree, with, you know, my personal device being used. I mean, it's great communication, don't get me wrong, but it is my phone. So,
But it says right here, even from private electronic devices are subject to disclosure under FOIA. This does not mean that the entire contents of the electronic devices
Right.
are subject to disclosure, but the concern for privacy does cause many to hesitate before using their personal devices for public or work-related work. Now, I have seen the 3 boxes of emails that were retrieved from the former treasurer's stuff. There is nothing in there. But if I'm gonna give up my personal devices
well,
to
those,
check it out.
those were deleted off of township computers in the hall.
But what was also found in those emails was the former treasurer had been using the public computers to do her own medication and ordering and all of this and that. And that was actually FOIA'd. That was actually part of the FOIA'd emails. So that is like a huge, huge concern. So now that I have a key, I will be using that back computer. I will contact Solve IT and just say, yep, I'll just use that if we do not get iPads. But I would prefer that, like Gary had a hard time. Gary Goodell, he should have an iPad.
Well, again,
The
we
chief
can
should
get a
have an
hold of
iPad.
this,
The chief should, the fire chief should have an iPad. Jim and I should have iPads. They will be township devices, and when we're done, return them in.
yep, the Gibble,
And actually Gibble is he is our contact that
Right.
we have here
Yep.
at Verizon.
so we can call him and, you can actually get a cell phone or you get an iPad. I think the service was $30 or $45 a month.
That I don't know.
Yeah, I think the service was, it might be $45 a month, which is,
Then I can get in touch with Frank.
yeah, he's actually in Italy.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So, if you'd like, I can get prices from him, but,
Okay, that's fine.
all right.
Yep, that'll work. All right.
Any, iPad?
Yep, and I would want, I
Mary?
think we should have 4 of them.
Well,
One
you're
for
gonna
the
need one
fire.
for Jim.
One for Jim, so the fire chief, and, you know, if he's gonna let Kevin use it, but one for that they can take out, one for me,
They have,
one for,
fire department has
Jim.
their own, communication devices, they don't use their personal cell phones up there.
I don't believe so. You guys don't use your own personal
Yeah,
The vehicles themselves, so the guys do use their
Their own
personal.
personal, okay.
do you think,
I would
do you
like to
think
have
that'd
one
be
just for
something
the
that,
office.
Office.
you'd wanna do, is get the guys moved off of their,
We have to look at it and talk about it, it would be pretty expensive when you start adding.
Not all
well,
of them,
again,
but
the
you could have
devices,
one.
are free, it's, the service is about $45 a month, I believe.
So take 45 times 12, because it's the.
But you could do one iPad, you know, like, that they could go on there and check the emails, like, hey, you're gonna be on this, for whatever.
Yeah, no, they're
For
a
whatever.
little bit too busy for that, but,
Start the whole station too, so the guys really all pretty much check their emails while they're on duty.
right,
Okay,
So, I mean, Kevin probably would be one of the few that would need it, and he doesn't.
yeah.
okay.
I would be more comfortable after getting more information on costs and everything from
Yep.
Verizon before
Okay.
I make any votes
Yeah,
on anything.
Absolutely.
And that's
Oh, yeah, we're
fine.
not voting on it, I'm just
No.
getting directions,
Okay.
This- you know, this will be unfinished business,
Well,
so.
there's possible motions on this, and so I'm just letting you know that I'm not comfortable with,
Well, no.
okay.
And that's fine, but to go and get prices
This is,
and
and
check
get more
this out, yep.
information, yeah.
Okay, so let's,
But it's
postpone the,
Yeah, oh, yeah, no problem.
postpone the action on the, internet, emails.
Okay, I
Yeah.
asked for Point and Pay
Yeah,
to
does
be
that
on.
require a,
Oh, I'll make a motion to
Oh.
postpone
What
until
is
the
that?
next
I don't
meeting.
even know
Okay,
what
I'll
that
support
is.
that.
To
I'll fill
postpone
you
it,
in.
we'll just.
Oh, no, she,
Oh,
to
you-
postpone the iPads.
iPad, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I asked for the
I-
Point and Pay,
I
oh, we didn't
seconded
vote,
that.
sorry,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
It's okay, I
It's
wanna
been a
go
really
too.
long
I
day.
wanna go too.
All right, I just need a second to postpone it till the,
Second.
Okay.
oh, thank you. Okay,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, so Point and Pay. Monica, what Point and Pay is, it's a company that we've used for years here apparently, that you can pay your, tax bills online with your credit card, either through directly through their website, or you can go through the township website and hit pay taxes, and it'll take you, and you put in your address or whatever, and you can put your
There's a
tax
link.
bill payments on your credit
Okay.
A
card.
link in there.
They do charge, I can't remember if it was 3%. I'm thinking they raised it to 4%, but I'm not sure. I always try and discourage people from doing that, you know, from paying extra, but obviously it's everybody's own personal choice. We, however, do not take credit cards here in the office. So we either have to write a check, or a lot of people actually, blows my mind, but they do pay cash. And that goes right to the bank, so. But in any case, what, I've had, since I've been here, I think I've only had 2 or 3 people that have come and wanted to pay with a credit card, and, you know, I've had to refuse them. Now, in the building department, we have a lot of, like contractors that need to come pay for permits and whatever. And because we don't accept credit card payments, they're having to come here and get their permits and pay for everything. Most other communities offer credit card payments where they take them. So, I checked to see what was involved. I called Point and Pay, because the contractors that we've talked to said, you know, when we said we don't do it because it's whatever, and then it's also a 4% fee. A couple of them have said, I'm driving an hour and a half away to get
Yeah.
here to pick up a permit,
Right.
you know, for $300. It's worth 4% to me. So I called Point and Pay to see what was involved. They said as long as our BSNA, because Point and Pay works directly with BSNA, so as soon as you put your credit card payment in to pay your taxes are paid instantaneously. So as long as BSNA is set up to take credit card payments, which they are, they can do it. It's no cost to the township. Again, it is going to cost the user a fee. They told me to contact BSNA and see that we have all, you know, make sure we had all the proper modules and whatever. So I did. I called BSNA. Everything is fine. We can take payments online. for building for anything. I can take them for taxes too, which I didn't know. The only thing BSNA requires is that Point and Pay gives them a test module and test payment and everything, and BSNA is gonna run it, make sure that that test payment gets credited to the proper account, proper bank, you
Send a
know.
couple of pennies through and.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing ever that I've had any test things done, anything's like 97 cents or less. So that's all that's required. So we do have the modules, we can do it, BSNA's on board, they just have to test it. Once they test it and say, okay, everything's good to go, then we can do this. We just had a builder come in, I can't remember if it was Monday or yesterday, to be honest with you, from Ferndale. We've had people come in from about an hour and a half away. It's up to them, it makes sense.
It just makes sense.
It doesn't cost the township anything, so in my mind, I'm thinking we need to do this
Yeah.
to service the community and service, you know, it just makes things easier for everybody. So I am asking for permission to, move forward with having, Point and Pay accepted here for taxes, accepted here for credit card payments, online for credit card, for building.
I thought
For
you
planning.
already had Point and Pay on here.
We do
For
have Point and
taxes.
Pay, but I cannot take a credit card at the window.
So it's gonna be, so when they come in here, it'll be taken at the window.
Or they can.
No, they can do it
Or
online.
online.
Most people do it
Call.
online.
Yeah.
No, I've had 3 people in a year and a half ask to pay it with a credit card at the
Okay.
window. So
But
it's
more the
not,
building.
it's more for building. But I
Okay.
could do it here, cause the modules all work
Yeah,
together.
and the building already has a module too for that.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
So it's just a service that I think we need to provide to
Yeah.
the community and.
Is there an annual is there an annual fee or
No, it
anything?
doesn't cost
Because
us
it's
anything
through
at all.
BSNA?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, that's,
Yeah, I checked with
just
both
makes
Point and
sense, I
Pay and
think, yeah.
BSNA to make sure that there was no additional cost to the township, and there is not.
okay. I'll make that motion,
Thank you.
that we go with that, that just
Okay,
convenience.
I'll second it.
Point and Pay for building and treasure. All right, Marie,
Yes.
Patrick?
Yep.
Joe?
Yes.
Swike, yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, 2 appointments for the zoning board of appeals. I'd like to make a motion to appoint DJ Carrick for a term from 3 of 23 to 3 of 26.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I'd like to make a motion to appoint Diane Exedras. Is that how you pronounce it?
Zagreus?
I have no idea how to
Sure.
say it, but I
Exaggeration.
just call her Lady X.
Yeah, Diane.
From,
yeah.
from 3 of 23 to 3 of 26.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Marie?
Yes.
Swike, yes. Joe?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yep. I'd like to make a motion, I have 2 planning commission appointments.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Joe Jabara to the planning commission for a term from 3 of 23 to 3 of 26.
I'll second that.
And I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jason Granby to the planning commission for a term of 3 of 23 to 3 of 26.
I'll second that.
Joe?
No.
Swike, no. Patrick?
Yep.
Marie?
Yes.
Okay. Motion failed for lack of support. Township Hall operations. obviously things have changed somewhat, on a day-to-day basis. Not that the, responsibilities, the statutory responsibilities aren't being completed per se, but, I do think that there's a need, I think, for another person in the office. I think that the amount of work that's being put in, especially over this, what was it, the general ledger change that the state's requiring, and the Acumed transition, putting the Acumed accounts together, has got the, building department secretary working diligently. That's been going on for how long now?
The general ledger,
General ledgers and the,
we've been doing that for about 6 months, Chris and I,
right,
going back and forth.
right. And that,
And that hasn't required, in the beginning, it required a lot of time. I had
Yeah.
some of it done and we worked together on that, so, and then.
and then what about
yeah.
this, the Acumed transitions?
The Acumed, this Sigma VSS is horrible. The system is terrible. Chris and I, well, I think we finally got her on there. It took quite a few times to get her on there, and then we added you, and, cause you guys need access, but they had to have an account for the.
Sigma had to be totally changed because that was the last one that, it's been, changing the bank account
Yep,
has been a huge process,
Yeah.
much more so than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was just switching one account to another that was a higher yield, and didn't know that that involved contacting 200 vendors that pay Acumed that needed to have all their information changed. Acumed did most of it. So there's just been a few tweaks that Chris and I have had to do, and then this Sigma was the last one, and it was a lot more lengthy, but I think we did finally get it. But it took over 6 weeks to get.
Okay, in the meantime, per se, we, people do walk in the office and ask for things along during the day, and that takes them away from what they're trying to do to keep the stuff organized. I know Kristen particularly has said that it's somewhat frustrating for her to try to get her stuff done and still have to run
What
the operations of the hall.
what are they asking for?
Well, the thought is to have, again, we've been looking for this for several years, a receptionist, a clerk. I think somebody made the comment to me, we need, like the village has, a Becky that's there to take information and disseminate it to the people as it's coming in. So I don't know what Becky's title is over there. I think she does a lot of things in building and in planning and in the planning commission, et cetera, but she kind of,
She does the bills and she'll do payroll and
Right.
she does
kind of a bookkeeper, if you will.
everything.
Right.
She- Yeah,
Administrative assistant, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's almost kind of like what the conversation has been, potentially, is to get a bookkeeper, somebody to take some of this stuff off. Now, Dawn again too, she comes in a couple days a week, but
Right.
at your discretion, so.
right, we have no election, right.
Right, and I don't know that the gals in the office know when she's coming in. You sent me an email here not too long ago that, they were gonna be out of the office and I had to come in and run the treasurer's department and the building department.
Right.
So,
And what's wrong with that? I mean,
what's,
This
I
is,
mean-
this is like, I mean, this would actually, when I got this, I'm going, this would really be comical if it wasn't so sad. Because you're not here, Mary's out of the office now, and I just think that both of you had challengers. If you didn't want to serve the public, why did you run for office? And I've said that when I was sitting over on that side. The people deserve to have public servants. And that's what you ran for office, then you need to be here. And if you can't be, maybe you need to step down. If people would have known that,
what do you mean?
they would, if people would have known that you were not gonna be here, then maybe they would have not voted for you.
What, to run the treasurer's
To run,
department?
or to, for John, you're never here.
I'm-
You are never here. I have been in here so many times, and you're not here. We had, a gentleman had been in here. This was like 2 months ago, and he took a picture of your door and it looked just
Well-
like that. So like, why is it that now it's an issue when Mary is not here, which I don't, you know, if you wanna take the people's money, you're getting paid to be here, you need to be here. And if you don't want to, then resign. And I mean that for both of you. I don't think it's right that they're paying and there's nobody here representing. Chris, it was when, before she got hired for 3 positions, it was hire a building department secretary, hire a planning and zoning. Building department should be 4 days a week. The office is open, you have somebody in here and you rotate lunches. Have somebody planning and zoning
You know, that's easier,
2 days a
that's
week.
easier said than
I
done, but the
get
fact
it's
of the
hard
matter
to-
is,
I
you're
get
not
it.
paying a living wage. You're not gonna get anybody in here.
It's a part-time job, John. It is this is not even part-time. This
How long
is
do
less
we,
than
how long do we
part-time.
advertise for that position?
Well, then
Over
maybe
2
you
months.
need to recruit, because where I work,
It's-
we recruit. We find people that just want to make a little bit extra income. The fact that we are paying $350 a month for an insurance stipend, that does not happen out in the real world for less than part-time work. This is part-time. This is less than part-time, because if you're not here, what are you working? 8 hours a week? 10 hours a week? That's insanity. And you're making over $30,000? I mean, this is just, to me, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. So, you know what? And this is the conversation, I talked with Chris about it. You know, the situation with the ZBA. There was a challenge with that. We cannot afford to be making mistakes like that, because the township is going to end up in a lawsuit. And I had a conversation with Chris, choose. But I think that all of us, we have an obligation to go and seek out people that might just want to earn a little bit, you know, a little bit of grocery money right now. You know, a little bit of gas
We
money.
advertise in the Macomb Daily for about 12 days. The record, I put it in there quite a few times.
And the bringing in one of your friends to do it is,
I'm not saying
Yeah.
a friend. Find, you know what? Go to the schools. Maybe, you know, go to a college. Go and advertise. Put it up in Vinkiers. Do something. I mean, that is a good wage for somebody that just wants to, you know, not
What-
have to
what's-
drive
what's-
far.
what's a good wage?
Well, what did we start Chris at? Not that we would start somebody like that, but start him at $15 an hour.
Well,
Start him at
you know,
something like that.
Actually, the best thing would be to do is put together a job description.
Yes.
And we can go from there.
Right.
Yes.
I did look up bookkeepers, because we had talked a year or so ago about, or 2 years ago, about a bookkeeper would be a huge benefit. And I did go on Indeed just to kind of get an idea, because I have no idea what wages are currently. But a bookkeeper going rate, a CPA firm was looking for a bookkeeper, and full-time or part-time, 2 years preferable experience. And they are paying between $17 and $22 an hour. I'm assuming depending on whether they take full-time or part-time or their experience level or whatever, but that's just one ad that I saw on Indeed. And there was only one ad on Indeed. So, and I just went on there kind of to get a ballpark, because like I say, I'm not familiar with the current wage scales.
And Mary, you've
So-
looked into it too. Most of the townships have bookkeepers to run their payrolls and things like that.
They have other companies do it too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, the
They
other
Go
other
out and
companies.
have somebody, but if we're gonna do that, which I'm not in favor of, but you know what?
It'll cost
We
you a
gotta
lot more.
do something, but there better be a time clock in here and people need to use it. You're not gonna pay people, and like what happened with the last building department where they're getting paid pension, we're paying a pension for a part-time job? This is insanity. We're paying medical stipends, and it's
Well, they're paying-
insanity.
Just so you know, I do
Retirement
keep track of
and
the
medical in
hours
Bruce
that I'm
Township.
here, I write it on a calendar, and
You're a public official. I'm talking about our employees.
I know, but
the
I do
public
keep
offi-
track.
But thank you. And I do appreciate, I think public officials should punch a time clock. If you don't wanna be here, don't run for office, cause the public, the people that you're servicing deserve better than that.
Well, what I'm getting my job done. You can't say that I'm not getting my job
Yeah,
done.
and I've seen you here
do-
at night when
I
you
do.
know, thank you for meeting me up here to get my packet and things like
I
that.
take care of everything. If someone has an issue, I've got my card there, they can call me. Right now, I don't have any elections. If I don't do building, I don't do planning and zoning, I don't do treasurer. My deputy's not gonna take money for the treasurer, do building or planning. That's not our job. We don't wanna be responsible for that. So if you wanna get someone part-time to maybe fill in, answer the phones, direct them, answer some questions, maybe you wanna do that. But my job is getting done, and you can't, tell me what to do, actually.
Of course, I'm terribly sorry for getting here this late, in the middle of an item.
No, we
Was
understand.
there a motion or anything, or is this just
No.
general
No,
discussion?
it's just general talk about the operation
Okay,
of
well,
the township hall gym.
I guess just to interject some of my comments, I generally do agree with what Monica said, and I've always have, as far as
Right.
time, us, in particular, the clerk, the treasurer, and the supervisor, I've always felt there should be some consistent, regular presence here. That being said, ultimately, I'll say legally, as long as statutory duties are being done, it does put
Right.
us in a tough
Right.
spot. And again, I agree with Monica as far as, in my opinion, as a resident, what my expectations are. I agree with that, the presence, but again, legally, we're kind of in a tough spot. And how do we? And you talk about
But
having a
there's
part-time.
But there's, legally
Oh, yeah,
and
I get
ethical
that, I get that 100%. But
they're
I
night
will
and
say,
day.
it's gonna be really hard to find somebody, it's easy to say somebody wants 10 hours, but you're, I think, can have a hard time getting somebody who's, I guess, has any qualification. You'd have so much turnover and inconsistency. I think that would be really hard to do. And as Supervisor mentioned, we did advertise, and I think, from what I can tell, Chris is doing a great job. But I think we advertised and we didn't get a response because until we're prepared to do that.
And now you actually have a deputy treasurer that's working for free. You have a
Well,
deputy clerk that really isn't trained for the clerk's position. She's just trained for elections, and she's starting to learn payroll, right?
She does payroll, and she does
Right.
accounts payable.
But she
Have
still
the-
doesn't have the ability to run the
Sure.
clerk's office.
Well, in an ideal situation, the office, in a community of our size, I think, would work together, and it would kind of balance out. You wouldn't have everybody out of the office at the same time, because you'd be communicating and saying, I'm gonna take next week off, or are you gonna be here, or in a month, I'm gonna be off. I think that in an ideal situation, we should be able to make that work, and from a financial standpoint, that's certainly my preference,
I
but
think,
we're not
too,
there right now.
Dawn isn't interested in a full-time job, though, is she?
No.
No,
Yeah.
so she's only gonna be in.
Sure, and,
No, and
Whatever.
Yeah.
yeah,
And she does what she knows how to do. She can answer most of the
yeah,
questions. I
have there
mean,
been any, at one point would
she
be, have there
hasn't- she
been
hasn't had
any, like,
any issues.
complaints from residents, as
I haven't
far as?
gotten any.
Well, they come in and they ask, of course they always do, and they have for years, ask for Mary or the clerk, and, well, she's not here, and they scratch their heads and go out.
Yeah, so do we get, what kind of questions do you get on a regular basis as far
I
as
get a lot of
during the
chit
day?
chats when people come in to see me, they pay their taxes, they just wanna talk to me if they have questions, or, this one lady called my line about a code enforcement issue, cause John wasn't calling her back, and I talked to this Patricia for about a half an hour. So.
Oh, I've talked to Tricia many times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm
Mhm.
just saying, if there's messages, people call me. If there's any issues, I take care of it right away.
Yeah, my assumption would be most,
And
of
Dawn
the-
hasn't, I asked Dawn if she's had any problems, anybody complaining about anything, and she hasn't had any.
What
What
does
would there be
anybody
to
here
complain
talk to
about?
Dawn? I mean, she may not be quite as honest with Mary. What's her opinion on how the situation's working for her now that Mary?
She's fine, she's fine with what she's doing. She's
you
doing
interviewed?
Well, I
whatever
don't
she
know, when I
needs to
got
get
here,
done.
Mary asked me to come in, and I came in when the treasurer's department and the building department were vacant, because they had other business to attend to, and Dawn didn't know why I was here, because she was here. But then again, Mary's saying that they're not gonna take money or do anything in building, or the deputy's not gonna take money or do anything in building, so,
No, taxes.
But
They don't
But
wanna
in
be
the
But
fiscally
they
past, you
honestly-
guys always, you did that last year, you just couldn't, you collect it, you don't have to do anything with it. You just collect it and say, yeah, I took it, put your initials on it.
You give 'em a- would she give
you
'em
know,
a
that's just
receipt
a
in the
common
past or
courtesy.
anything?
Well, you write down a
No,
note.
all they
if
do is
need
they
a
just,
receipt, write a
yeah, they
note
just,
on there that
a
they
note
left
on
a
it that
receipt,
it
and
was
then she
received.
mails out a receipt when she
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
prints it out.
You know, I don't have to explain my deputy.
No, it's not,
And she's not comfortable.
and I understand that, this
Yeah.
board discussion,
They could put
again.
the funds in the box.
So, but the statutory duties, so, and that was what one of the letters had said too. If they're getting done, unfortunately, there isn't anything we can do about it. However, that being said, like with the treasurer's office, if Chris,
Chris and
is
I are always
taking-
here unless, I mean, very rarely is one of us not here, very rarely.
and I do agree with that, but Dawn, you know, like when I've been in, Dawn's been here, or Mary's been here too, so, John, you're never here. so I
Well,
don't know
I'm
what to
actually
say.
probably more as accessible as anybody. Jim,
But-
you ever had a problem calling me?
Oh, certainly not
Or
calling
meeting
you,
with
yeah.
me, or having me come up to a meeting, or, I mean, you're not gonna sit here for 6 hours and wait for somebody to walk in the door. They call me at the office and they ask me to come over for meetings, and I do. I make myself available all the time,
No difference
Actually-
with me. I mean,
nights and weekends as well. I'm 2 buildings
Well,
away.
the
You
people-
can't get
but the
from the 4th floor of the
people- but
county
you know
building to
what?
the 1st floor as fast as I can
But
get here.
the people, I've heard people from the floor say, I've left you a message and you've never gotten back with me. I've heard that multitude times, and you're the only one. I mean, if I want to talk to Mary, I'm gonna call her and she's gonna call me back. Sarah, I don't even have your number, but I know how to reach you, and I would expect a call back. Same with Chris, I would expect a call back. I've never heard anybody say that about any other official other than you, John.
Well, they call me all the time. I take all their calls.
Well,
and you do township business at Patrick Mold too. I
Yep,
mean,
I do.
why can't you have meetings here?
Well, I do township business because I have a job. I have to work,
Okay.
but I do
Okay.
I do the township business. If I have to send out emails or get on a Zoom meeting, like today when they called me and said they wanted to have a meeting with, Hackle's office and, the grant writer and myself, they asked me if I'd jump on, went in, got on the Zoom meeting, and we
On he-
talked
in
for a
here?
half hour. No,
Or at Patrick Mold?
my house, my office.
Okay, you're doing it at Patrick Mold, so
Sure.
I do all my business here.
you know what, you guys, the three,
make-
you just voted to spend $250,000 for a new township hall, and now this month, we're talking about nobody's here. Why do we need a new town hall? I'm just confused.
So this one doesn't fall on us.
You know, this is just,
Well,
yeah,
Why don't you
well,
come back, John, with a job description?
Okay.
I would like to see those offices divided. Chris can choose that one
That's a lot for
or
one
that one.
person to be doing
and
3 jobs.
Yeah, no.
I did it, when I was clerk, I did planning and zoning and clerk for almost a year until Christine decided she wanted to take out, and that's a lot of work, but I was able
Chris
to do
only
it,
works
so.
as my
No, not-
deputy
not her.
possibly 3 hours a month.
And that was the hope
And I
when
do,
she took
we do
that,
keep track of it.
that if it's limited, then
Yeah.
that would work, and I think that's, again, that's a great situation as long as it does work, so if she can do that, if it becomes where, if we feel she's too busy and it needs to be split, it's always been my opinion, I don't wanna split the position, cause I
Right.
feel like there's enough downtime, but really, what do I know? I mean, we have.
It-
In
Well,
my
that's just
downtime,
it.
I'm
Build-
helping
Quite
her,
honestly,
like
okay.
today, I
Said
was
it's-
doing
it's
quite a bit the last
Too
couple
much.
days
It's
with
too
her.
much work. She has a planning commission, meeting on Wednesday, and has to have all the information ready for the board by the following Wednesday.
It's too much.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
It's too much. ZBA and planning commission, that should be one person, planning and zoning. And then we need a building department and then deputy clerk. I just think, you know, if she's only, you know,
Yeah.
maybe building and deputy clerk would work, but
You
not,
mean deputy treasurer?
or deputy
Deputy treasurer.
treasurer, deputy treasurer, but
Yeah.
not planning
Well,
and
there's times like
zoning.
now it's very quiet in here for me, so I've been doing stuff to help her out too. So whenever I have downtime where it's not real busy, I go help her with whatever she needs.
I just.
We work
I-
together very well.
Okay, but I'm gonna be on the hunt to find somebody, cause this is not working. It's not working.
Yeah, I mean, as a resident, we definitely want to have a presence here. For the sake of residents, when they come in, we expect a response. So if that's the direction we need to go,
Yeah, hardly walk into any business and don't find a receptionist at the
Yeah.
front desk.
I think a bookkeeper slash receptionist, someone that can kind of just not know all the jobs, but be able to assist someone and say, you know, they'll be back in an hour, they'll be back tomorrow morning, or I will get this to them, and here, you know, sign off saying, you know, I will get that.
Have them order
Take your
supplies,
information
they can
and-
order
yeah.
supplies,
So,
Yeah, ordering office supplies.
I mean, you know,
mhm.
things
So,
that
yeah,
the
somebody
clerk's
that can
office
kinda
doesn't
help
need to do.
out. As needed, knows just enough to be able to provide quick assistance.
We'll put together a job description. But I think we need somebody on a regular basis. Budget workshop dates.
Yeah. I would like to move them to either February 20th, 20th is a Monday, I'm sorry, January 23rd is a Monday, January 24th is a Tuesday, or January 25th a Wednesday, and then February 23rd, the 20th is a Monday, the 21st is a Tuesday,
Okay, hang on,
22nd is, February 23rd is a Wednesday. I do have delegate meetings on January 26th and 23rd.
are
Okay.
they
Okay,
all
just
on,
to
Thursday?
make sure I'm getting it, because
Yeah,
I
we're
was
set up
running.
Yeah, so
Thursday.
January
Janu-
23rd, 24th, and 25th, you
Yeah,
have
either one
available.
I have available.
Okay, and then
Okay.
February 20th, 21st, 22nd,
Right.
you have available.
And my Wednesdays are not good.
Okay, so how about Monday, January 23rd,
Sounds
and
good.
February 20th, that's a Monday.
Sounds good. Appreciate that.
Will that work for you, Jim?
Yep.
I don't have my calendar in front of me, but
Okay.
I'll certainly do my best to make it work.
Okay, so January 23rd instead of the
And February
26th,
20th.
and February 20th instead of the 23rd.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can do that too, it looks like.
all right,
Okay,
okay, we'll change,
23rd instead of 26th, 20th instead of 23rd.
yes,
Okay.
okay, I'll make those changes,
Are those both Mondays?
yes.
I mean, I have,
Wanna
I
Tuesday?
have work meetings on some Mondays. but
Okay, do you wanna do it Tuesday?
No, let's stick
you
with that.
sure?
Yeah, I'll-
Okay,
And then, Kay is gonna be,
K is, oh, the banking
the
thing.
banking,
Sorry,
How much
again,
did you add to the
long day.
agenda?
So what I'm asking for, and I don't have anything to give you on it,
you just want personal
I
access.
just want to, yeah, and I've already reached out to the banks. There are 3 banks that she does not currently have access to, so if I'm not here, you know, she can't get on and get the statements, or she can't do anything.
she can't sign checks or,
She can sign checks on, our everyday Choice One accounts. her
She just
and-
needs login, right?
Right. I
okay.
just need login information. And I could use a signature card for the other, like the investment accounts and stuff. Not that, if I'm not here, our investment account, the statements aren't available till the 15th of the month. You know, if I'm not here, whatever, I get them all, I give them to her, we work on them together. But if I'm not here, she wouldn't be able to get them. So I just want her to be able, and by law, she has to be able to have access to everything, so. It's just a confirmation of getting her access to those 3 accounts.
Speaking on that, the auditor, I know that before, the auditor had talked about if she's doing bank reconciliations, she can't take
Taxes,
the taxes.
Mhm.
So how are you because I thought she was doing all the bank reconciliations.
She does most of them, but she doesn't take any taxes. I'm there
Oh,
every
she
day.
doesn't, okay, no taxes.
And if
I mean,
she
if I'm away from my desk for a minute, she'll take them, just stamp that she took them, but she doesn't record them.
That's part of it being the deputy, that takes 2 to 3 days when the reconciliations are due. So, that takes her away from the planning and building. And they come in the beginning of the month, except for the one, again, finding this on Wednesday, general board meeting on the 2nd Wednesday. So, it's a, like, overwhelming amount of work for week and a half, 2 weeks.
For both of us.
Yeah.
Well, it always is,
Mhm.
my department too.
So is there a motion needs to be made?
Yes, actually, sorry, I do, need a motion to add Chris Martin to, the rest of the bank accounts to give her access. American Deposit, which is Robinson Capital, Flagstar Bank, and Macomb Schools and Government Credit Union.
Support?
Okay, Murray,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yep.
Getzinger,
Yes.
Job,
Yes.
Swaggy, yes.
Thank you.
American Flagstar,
Was that it? There was,
American Deposit, Flagstar, and Macomb Schools and Government Credit.
no, I
Union.
mean,
Oh,
there was the meetings, there was the
yep, that's,
signatures.
that's it.
That
Okay.
was it.
It was maybe just switching the other ones around.
No, all game changing is done.
Trustee Getzinger?
Well, again, I apologize for being late. I take these meetings seriously, but I had something else more important.
Yeah, we understand.
No, I hope everything went
So,
well. I'm sorry to
Is it,
have to hear.
for the auditor, is it okay, if, like, when Chris collects money over there, and money for planning, and then for treasurer, how does?
There's never been an issue with, the auditor for the Treasury Department that I saw in the book, so.
Okay, so I'm saying, cause now she's deputy
We'll
treasurer.
just make sure we
so
check with the auditor.
We'll check with them.
That'll be
Okay.
coming up soon.
Trustee Joe?
Nope.
Treasurer Murray?
I do have something. It's shocking, I know. Last month, there was a conversation about the, Park Pavilion rental form and a vote, and that didn't pass. However, you do know that there is still a Park Pavilion rental fee, because that was passed in September. So what failed in December was that form. So if there's,
Well, we don't wanna agree on the fee then.
well, it's already approved. The fee was approved in September, I have the minutes. $50. So discussion included statements from Jim that said you could still use the pavilion without filling out the form and paying the fee, and that is incorrect, because it did pass. The fee is for pavilion use.
I don't remember saying
Wasn't it
that
just to
anyway.
have him, draft the,
All that was
You
approved,
can use the pavilion without reserving it for free,
Park
correct?
Pavilion
I'm sure that's what I
rental
would've said,
fee,
yeah.
September 14th minutes, motion by Murray, seconded by
Yeah, but if
Swayacki,
it's
to set a $100 fee.
scheduled to be used and you're using it, do they
Yeah.
come in and throw you out?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
certainly, but I mean, I'm sure what I said would have been, you can use the park for free.
You can use the park, just not the pavilion.
So I
Like, you
can't
can't
use
have
the
a birthday
pavilion?
party
okay,
Saturday afternoon at the
Well,
pavilion without.
as long as you don't reserve it, if it's not reserved.
No, it can't, you,
What, am I,
okay, just read that.
anyway,
Sarah,
sorry,
what-
go ahead.
the motion is by Murray, seconded by Swayacki, to set a $100 fee for rental of park
Okay.
facilities beginning April 1st. That determined discussion that it was a little, too much, so I amended my motion, and it was seconded by Swayacki to amend the motion to set the fee at $50 and to have attorney draft a rental agreement for pavilion use.
Okay,
There were 3 yeses and 2 noes, so the motion carried.
So
So
we-
we do have a park pavilion rental fee.
but we
All-
didn't approve the form, so that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't think
Yeah.
people realize that they were only voting on this form. And this was the simplest form that required the least amount of information, just a matter of record, so we can collect the $50 and offset some of these ridiculous park maintenance fees that we're seeing a
Well,
lot of.
We're only,
think
we're only
I've-
gonna rent it like 5 times, that's $250.
Well, I still think too, like Jim said, you know, if somebody goes in there and uses the pavilion for a party, and then somebody comes in and has it reserved for a party,
I still need to know who's there.
They just take if you have a reservation, you say, sorry, but
Yeah,
we have a
right.
reservation.
right, exactly,
Right.
but the reservation, they paid $50 for and signed
Yeah.
an agreement
Well,
to,
And in
so,
the past, I'll put it back on the agenda.
Has it been an issue? Has it ever happened?
Not per the parks director.
No. Gary said there's never been an issue. People come and go, they clean up, they don't leave any mess or anything. And it's
But the
only-
fact
it's-
remains that it was approved.
Okay, well,
So,
I'll put it back on the agenda to,
but the only person that can bring back, a vote for a reconsideration is somebody who voted against it. So, that would have to be
Me.
you or, hold on. Now I gotta find the right minutes here.
Jim voted.
Yeah,
no.
Jim and, Jason were the only ones that voted against it, so it would have to be Jim that would bring it back.
Okay.
Well, if we didn't approve the form, then they have nothing to sign for the rental.
And I don't even know why we had to approve the form, it's just a form.
I don't either, yeah,
Oh, Well,
but,
it had to be written by the attorneys. If
Yeah.
someone needs to sign something, they need to know what they're signing for.
but there is a park fee, and that was approved.
Clerk Swayze,
No.
like to, make a motion to adjourn at 8:41.
Second.
We
All
also
in
do
favor?
that.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
All right,